If you're a pleaser in a narcissistic relationship with a woman, it's critical you understand how your trauma bond was formed and how it still perpetuates itself. It was formed by your wife's neediness on her side and your need to please her on your side. So what happens was she would be trying to control you or say, hey, we've got to do this or we've got to do that. And on your side, you don't have any boundaries. So you don't say no. You don't say, yeah, that's not going to work, because the pleaser's terrified of abandonment. And because of this terror, separation is never an option, right? It's not an option. So while the pleaser might recognize, the control and the manipulation of the narcissistic partner, what he doesn't realize is this is a permanent pathology, this narcissism. And as well, so is his pleasing. So if he can't, break his pattern of pleasing, this trauma bond's just going to go around and around and around and intensify as the relationship goes on. And so it starts out with, watching movies. Okay, I'll watch this movie with you, he says to her. And she goes, well, I want to watch another movie. He might want to go home, right? But he can't say, I need to go home. Or even if he does, the narcissist is going to go, well, you know what? You don't need to go home now. Just stay another hour. Stay another 2 hours. Just stay with me. You can sleep tomorrow after work. So the pleaser's needs are never met. One, because the narcissist doesn't care about his needs, and two, because he doesn't have the self-esteem to value his own needs, because the pleaser is always putting his narcissistic wife's needs over his own. He doesn't have the self-esteem to go, hey, you know what? No, I'm gonna go now. Because then the terror of rejection, conflict, disappointment, or abandonment comes up, and he doesn't have the strength or self-esteem to soothe his own emotions. So the only way he can, stay calm, if you will, probably not the right word, is to accommodate his narcissistic girlfriend. So he's always putting her needs before his own, always. And what the pleaser needs to be able to do is, learn to set and hold boundaries. But of course, the narcissist is never going to respect his boundaries. So ultimately, pleasers need to learn to go, you know what? No, disengage. Ultimately, that's going to piss the narcissistic girlfriend or wife off, guaranteed. And ultimately, he's going to have to decide within himself that I'm not compromising myself anymore. I'm not submitting. I'm not caving. Because every time I do that, I give a piece of my personal power or autonomy away. And that is extremely unhealthy. That's why pleasers come into my office and they're constantly going, well, I'm exhausted. I don't know who I am anymore. I don't know what I want. And then even when I bring up, well, you're going to have to separate if you want to work on your mental health. I mean, you're going to continue to lose yourself and decay in this relationship. Many become terrified right there. And you know what? They don't want to do that work. They're going to ignore professional therapeutic advice, and they're going to go keep trying, keep pleasing, keep morphing themselves, keep saying yes when they mean no. It just never ends. So that's the formation of that trauma bond and the perpetration of that trauma bond until it ultimately ends in implosion. So if the pleaser doesn't leave the relationship, the narcissist will eventually become so hate-filled towards that pleaser, her partner, that she's going to implode. And when she implodes, it's phoning the police, making false accusations and charges, and that's generally when I see male pleasers. They're coming in, they've been kicked out of their own house, children are being withheld, and they are now having to hire 2 criminal lawyers, one to obtain custody of their own children, and these are men are emotionally available fathers, and two, to defend themselves against bogus criminal charges. And even at that point, because these men, these male pleasers have such low self-esteem, even then they're kind of asking me questions sometimes about, well, you know, I'm hoping I can get back with her. Can I get back with her, you know, when this is all over? So their stubborn unwillingness, their stubborn, controlling unwillingness to let go, to grieve, to go through the fallout, to stand up for themselves, which is really everything that they need to start doing, and it's all laid out in the book, is put off, even when their world is coming crashing down. So I'm trying to teach men, you know, these critical skills and decisions they have to make in order to build self-esteem. Because if they don't build self-esteem by standing up for themselves, they're fucked. And that's the long and the short of it. So hopefully men will start to decide that there is no hope in their narcissistic relationship. Their only hope lies in protecting themselves and their children, standing up for themselves and their children, and getting the fuck out of the relationship. Yeah, and there's going to be post-traumatic separation. There's going to be, you know, she's going to still seek her revenge, and you still got to learn to, you know, set the boundaries, hold the boundaries, disengage, protect yourself, get your children half time, and go on to create a wonderful life and give your children an opportunity to have their own feelings, you know, their own autonomy, and develop inside of a healthy home at least half of the time.